Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of The Gray Area. My name is Mr. Bennett, joined as always by Grooming and Reviews 101, aka
This is Sparta!
the Ghost of Sparta, aka Peter, aka Panagiotis. Y'all saw my brother. What's going on?
What's going on this beautiful hot Sunday night?
Yeah, I know. But just in keeping in line with the show, I had to come correct tonight since the subject we're talking about is cars. So first, I got my Miami Vice sort of summer driving shirt with the top down in the car, and then back I got the New Jersey Turnpike. Shout out to New Jersey. So again, Jersey Turnpike. So I'm definitely talking about riding and cruising tonight. But again, thank you all for joining us this evening on this edition of The Gray Area. As you see scrolling on the bottom, our Cash Apps. If you appreciate the content that we give, we'd appreciate any contributions that you give us directly. But more importantly, we ask that you support the BMU Network. Consider becoming a member of the network to support it monthly. But certainly drop us any super chats. But certainly we appreciate those as well. It helps to support the network as we try to bring you content 7 days out of the week on various topics, have different shows, different themes. And so, we certainly, want to make sure this network stays relevant in these spaces. So definitely, that's right. Hawaii 5-0, Miami Vice. But you know what really is the motivation for this shirt? We didn't talk about this. In fact, I may ask one of the questions tonight. Your favorite driving video games. So one of my favorites used to be this game called Outrun back in 1987. So again, the guy in the video had like a shirt on like this as well. So Outrun, Hawaii, Miami Vice, all those kind of shirts. I take it all in tonight because definitely again talk about cruising with the top down and whatnot. So I thought it'd be apropos for the show this evening. But again, consider becoming a member of the channel, and certainly appreciate the interaction and super chat again. Welcome again. Loved having you guys, and looking forward to a fun show. I mean, we've had some craziness has been going on this weekend that I really don't want to get into on this show. I think Black Man had a special show last night talking about the past incidents and whatnot. So again, I don't want to disrupt the vibe of the show, but we're some interesting times. So I can use a topic like cars to kind of take me away from all the craziness that's going on in the world right now. But how you doing overall, brother?
I'm good, man. Just tired from work. Like last couple of days, kicking my ass. So I'm looking forward for a day off coming up soon on Wednesday. But
you deserve it.
That's why I had to cancel the show last night because I was too tired. And there's no way it was going to happen.
Right.
But let's really get into it. So, Paul, favorite car, go.
You got a context, man.
Top three. Your top favorite car
of all time, like what I would buy today, or what?
Top three. Well, your dream car, 3 dream cars. If you had them right now, you'll buy them. Boom. Okay, you have you have $1 billion. Boom.
Like I said, I got to put this in layers, man. If you ask me today, so if I got unlimited budget, what I would drive today, honestly, I'm really not up on the latest stuff right now. Like I said, I would certainly consider a Tesla Y. I like the one with the doors folding down on the sides and whatnot. I'm a futurist to an extent. So I like, so anything with the latest, or I might consider me one of those electric luxury vehicles or something like that if I want something to ride in. I've considered a truck, like a loaded, but see, here's the thing with me with cars. Now, this is the most intoxicating smell in the world to me personally. Yeah, I know this is weird to people. There is nothing in the world like a brand new car. When you get into a brand new car for the first time, and the smell, the formaldehyde, the whatever, the plastic just got taken off and whatnot, it's just got that smell that if you could only buy it, because I've seen some of these Sentries and whatnot where they try to, say, okay, new car smell, it smells nothing like a new car. So again, anything new, especially a car, is certainly going to have appeal. But yeah, I mean, I would go with, luxury. I'm not so in on Lexus versus Mercedes versus BMW versus whatever. I don't get that deep in terms of the in terms of on the luxury car lines and whatnot. But I've definitely been looking at like just a loaded truck. I don't know if I want to get like a 150 or extended cab, whatever, something like that, loaded with the big fat 25-inch tires on it or whatnot. Something
Don't forget,
just
you
gaudy.
2 hours too. You have to consider that in.
Well, no, this
equation
is for
too.
commuting. No, if you're gonna give me unlimited, but this is the car that I'm gonna wear this shirt. I don't wear this shirt to
Oh,
work.
okay.
So I'm gonna get on the turnpike. I'm gonna drive turnpike south. I'm going down to the Jersey Shore or down 95 or whatever, and I'm
Here's
just
a
cruising in my
question for you.
car. So yeah,
Here's a question: Ford, Chevy, or Dodge?
you know,
Uh,
my family was Ford people, so I got to stay loyal. We're a Ford family, so I guess the
Good.
truck
Good answer,
the truck
good answer.
division.
Okay,
The
you're
Ford,
not
now the
getting
car
kicked off-
division
you're not-
that was trash. They used to
you're
have for
not
Ford.
getting
They used
kicked
to
off the
say
show yet.
fixed on road daily or something like that. We used to have this acronym for Ford back in the day or whatever.
So
but
I'm gonna push back on that because a Ford Mustang is a sick fucking car.
Mhm,
I don't care.
Well, now
Yeah.
I'm just saying historically, let's say that the car lines, everybody kind of laughed at Ford as far as them being trash, especially in the 80s and 90s with our Ford Taurus and all that. But the trucks have always been good, from my understanding. And I know,
You know
you got
what,
Jimmy,
like,
you got even Toyota. You know, a lot of these
Okay,
guys have caught up, but Ford has
Yeah, I
always
got-
been consistent with the truck division.
I forget my father. It was a cab driver, and he had Crown Vics half his career, so he
Mm.
never had issues with them. Never. A lot of cops use Crown Vics. So as people say they're shitty cars, why do they keep going back? Police
Yeah.
force went to. I don't want to hear that. I think that's a bullshit story because a couple people had a bad experience, and you get lemons out there, obviously. But again, no. So truck is one. What else? That's it. That's all for you.
Like I said, I can go with like I said, luxury. I would love to test. Actually, have you seen that new Tesla truck?
Fuck yeah.
That thing
I have-
looks sick, man. That looks like
looks
something
sick.
out
Here's
of 22nd century stuff, man.
I
It just
know
on the, I would
three
like to.
people-
I think I may go and test drive one.
I know 3 people who own a Teslas and they cannot wait to get rid of them. After you add up the miles,
Mhm.
they get a lot of problems with them. And then, after the warranty expires, of course, I'm like, what the fuck at that point? I'm like, now for me, 3 top cars, it's more than 3. It's more like a 5. I would say I'll definitely get a Mustang again. I love the Mustangs. I think that was one of my best cars. Definitely not Lambo, but it has to be. I'm gonna get both of them. I'm gonna get the
Oh,
sports
so you're
car.
gonna go?
and
Oh, so you're gonna go to like the high end? Okay,
I
all right.
have
so
a
you-
list. I have a list. So
Okay,
I'll
so
get-
all right, if you're gonna go there, then all right. So let me just jump back in before you go.
told you,
Okay, so I got to
no
get a
limit.
vet. I got to get a vet. All right, Corvette. I'm sorry. That's I've been a lifetime lover of the Corvette, going all the way back to the '77
Mustangs gonna be
Stingray.
anything.
I'm sorry. I gotta have a vet. It's like, so I just saw a new one recently. Looks sick as a vehicle. So I gotta have a vet in my arsenal. If you're gonna allow me to build a fleet, I'm having a vet there. Whether it be a classic vet or a new vet, vet's gonna be in there.
Okay. All right. I was saying, all right. So my Mustang, right? The Lambo and the Lambo SUV. Okay, I want both of them. They look sexy. I'll be honest. They look nice cars.
Right.
Now, truck. It has to be the Rapper series. It has to be a Rapper.
Mhm.
Like the 4 Rappers. I think they're great trucks. They look awesome. Now they're actually doing like SUVs ones too.
Right.
So that's number 4. Now the SUV. It has to be the 6x6 from Mercedes Benz. Have you seen the 6x6?
The 6x6. Let me look that guy up because I haven't seen. I don't think I've seen a recent photo of it.
So fun story as you're looking it up. I mean, 6x6 Mercedes is actually a lot of them are actually using them in overseas military services. Believe it or not,
Mhm.
not because it's Mercedes, because
So it's almost like a Hummer. I mean,
pretty much almost like a Hummer. I know a couple guys who actually own 1 or 2 of them, and they had to ship it from overseas. They don't make it in the States yet. I don't know if they ever will, because you know how you got 4x4, you got 6x6, you got 6 wheels going at all times. I'm just curious how well that fucking thing will drive.
yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at it
looks like a
now.
beast.
It looks pretty sick. Yeah, yeah. But I just
Like,
remember
if
back
any
in
guys
the
have time, look up 6x6. You're gonna say, "What the fuck is the guy thinking?"
yeah. Yeah,
It's like they went on drugs.
but you do know guys who own, did it, just a shout out to the chat. Did anybody own a Hummer back in the day, whether it be the H2, the H3, or one of the original ones that came out? Because that was like, that was like a rave for, you talk about like the early 2000s and whatnot, 2002 and up. if you had money, you had to own a Hummer, whether or not it was practical or not. But Hummer, that was like, and they would get the Hummer with the spinning wheels on it and all that. That was another fad. That was back. The spinning rims or whatnot.
Spinners.
Yeah,
I hated the spinners. It's stupid. If you had a spinner, I want to slap you with it. But the Hummers, I think there were the H1 and H2 were my two favorite Hummers, hands down. I think they look both. When I went to H3, I'm like, this is stupid, man. But you know what? If I had the money, honestly, like I consider actually buying. You can actually buy a real Hummer now, like what they use in a service.
The ones that, yeah.
Off the, brand new off the lot. It just, you don't have all the special tactical equipment, obviously, just bare naked. Right. I would get one. Only reason that thing's not going to stop. You're in a snowstorm, it's going through it. You're going through a puddle, you're going through it. You're going to run some bodies over, you're going to run through it. You want to run Hummer zombies, you can run through them. You want to run over a small Texan guys, you can run them. No offense, but you get the idea. You can run anybody over with those damn things. Nothing's going to stop you. That's why the military keep using them.
Yeah. I mean that was definitely a trend. In fact, we're gonna probably maybe talk about that a little bit. The trends, like growing up, like there's certain cars that people wanted, and I also want to put some. But you're talking about unlimited budget here. So would you go new, or are you one of those classic guys, or would you get one of those one of those old classic cars? Because again, I used to go to some car shows where they got the souped up remember the car from the Munsters. Like they would get that classic car from the Munsters and soup it up, got the fat wheels in the back and the engine exposed and all. Okay. Would you go gaudy like that? I mean, if you're talking about unlimited, so you can get a guy to custom your car, trick it out as much you want, would you go classic or would you want to go new with 50-50? Okay.
I'll tell you why. There's some cars out there that you're not going to get the new version. Like even the new version. My favorite Mustang has always been the Mustang GT 500, the Eldor from Gone in 60 Seconds. That is my dream Mustang. Like I got one for you. Yeah. I'll tell you about one of my test scores for one. That's how much I love it.
Okay.
But the new version, the GT 500, 2015, I think it came out 2018. Great car again.
Right.
But
see, late in the war, she's a classic 67 Chevy Impala. Oh, she's going all the way back.
See, you lost me with Chevy. That's what me and you're gonna be. We need to have a private conversation off the air. Me and you, young lady, about this. But seriously, like they have the Mustang 1000. I think it was called. Is the last Mustang that Shelby made before he died. It was like 1,000, some crazy number. I can't remember.
Right.
It's only like 500 made or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Number. I'll buy one of those, but it can be used.
Yeah.
But it depends what we're talking about. I'll buy I'll buy the new Mustang. I think
you just said dream. You said dream car. So again, dream car could be something. Okay, so dream car. So again, you're gonna have some classics in there. What you want to what?
I want a fucking army. I'm a car guy. What do you think?
You have a car garage for the.
As long as it's not a Chevy piece of shit, I'm good.
I hear you. Yeah, you mentioned Mustang. First of all, shout out to Lady Novoa. She said I didn't do my proper intro. So again, I say salute to the bold and the beautiful, the beneficent, benevolent ball brotherhood of the BMU Network. Shout out to the Follically Free. Good to be with you guys again. So again, I had to make sure I got that off for the Queen, who's always supporting tonight. But going back to Mustang, I got my favorite Mustang even to this day is still 1971 Mach 1. The one that was in Diamonds Are Forever, that James Bond car, that's still my favorite Mustang. I know you've had some beasts that come out since then, but again, in terms of classic cars, that's still my favorite Mustang. Certainly from the movie point of view. Beautiful car back there. The Mach 1
you have
awesome.
In the chats, if David can highlight I8QY. They're saying Shelby F-150 is a really nice kind of fast. I agree. That is a really nice fucking truck.
Yeah.
And I'm not a truck guy. I'll be honest. I'm not a truck guy. I just don't like how they look personally.
Right.
Outside they look nice. I don't like the column shift. I'm very picky on my cars. I like the ground shifters better. Again,
right.
I know I'm nitpicking now, but that's like Dodge. Forget it. I don't like the Rams. I think they're overpriced, to be honest with you.
Right.
I'm very picky on my cars, bro. Like,
would you get a Charger?
No, I think they're overpriced.
Man, see, I gotta have. The one that was
I
what was
know.
that movie with Ice Cube and Kevin Hart? I forget the name of the movie they were in recently. But Ice Cube's ride, I was like, that was a sick ride that he had from that movie. It's like, all right, he put my faith back in the Charger again. Back in the day, Dodge is overrated, but again,
Overrated. I agree 100%.
that Charger was nice. I mean, the way Ice Cube had it tricked out in that movie, that it was pretty nice.
I have spoken to a lot of people who had Chargers. My buddy Roy, and some other people. Everybody who has it, when they're they got rid of it. They got rid of them. They're overrated. And I know a lot of police forces now they're changing back to a Ford or Chevy.
Yeah,
Because there are too many hiccups with those cars.
right.
But there's some forces that want to go with Chevy still. I mean Dodge, whatever. Each their own. I personally, I think they look nice. I would give that. They look nice inside and out. My buddy CQ, he had a Charger. He loved it. But again, it depends who you are. You know what I'm saying? What your preferences are. My preference has always been Fords. Always.
I got you. Shout out to Wife School Podcast. She also joined us tonight. Again, shout out to Joshua Jones as always. Thank you for being with us tonight. So Wife School says, I like custom cars, pimp my ride. All right, so we gotta have some folks drop in the chat. Okay, so if you're gonna buy a car off the lot today, all right, so right off the lot, what are you buying? And also, if you go back your best classic custom car. So if you go back in time, all right, if you can come back and kind of trick out a classic car, what car are you driving? So I need one with your bond. Joshua Jones, yeah, that's a found on road. that used to be a thing. Ford back in the 80s and 90s. Everybody used to clap Fords, but never the trucks. The truck division, they seem to have it together. But the cars, yeah, I mean, no one was rocking Fords like that.
With respect, who asked you?
I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
me and you have some beef later. Don't worry, buddy. But no, seriously.
Nice. As always, Loss is always so classy, man. And shout out to Loss. BMW X5.
I like the X5, but I like the M3 better. I think the M3 is a lot better. Nice car. I remember the first time I got in an M3, a buddy of mine owned it. And he goes, dude, this flies. I'm like, nah, come on. How fast can it go? Come on, dude. I didn't believe how fast. But when he gunned it and when he starts shifting gears, like, shit, that fucker flies. I'm like, I didn't realize how fast the sucker goes.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was like kind of glued back to the seat for a minute. I'm like, whoa, these guys actually have some balls behind it.
All right, so she wants to see. Wife School has an expensive case. She wants a Lambo Urus off the lot. So she gotta have.
Lambo's a beautiful car. Yeah. Like Indy on that.
Yeah, Nah. I mean, see, but what do you value in a car? So you're looking at I think you were talking about speed, right? So you want something that goes fast. You want something that looks good. You want a girl catcher. So what is your criteria when you're evaluating cars? What do you evaluate in terms of
depends really. It depends. What am I? Okay, is it my everyday car, my daily driver? Is it my family car? Is it my show off car? Is it
your chick magnet car? Right.
Chick magnet car? Is it me just showing up to the boy's house and what the fuck do kind of car?
Mm-hmm.
It depends what is the occasion. It's like pants. What kind of pants you're gonna wear? Or what kind of shoes you're gonna wear? Or what kind of cologne you're gonna wear? Same thing with car. Is what kind of car are you gonna use today?
Right.
Think about it.
Okay, so that's why I make the case for the electric. Like I said, commuter car going up and down the turnpike every day, 35 miles a day. Give me a Tesla. I'm good. No problem at all. I'll take the Tesla every day to work. That's not a problem. Like I said, the weekend drive. Okay. You can give me a Mustang. In fact, classic. Now again, the classic Mustangs. Remember the ones back in the 80s and 90s where they had that grill in the back, so they had the tricked out in the front. Then they had that grill, that foldable thing in the back of the car and whatnot.
Late 90s or early 90s? I think it was.
It was like the late 80s into the 90s, but they had that. Yeah. So you can certainly give me one of those. You could definitely give me a vet. If talking about cruising, you can give me a vet any day of the week. From 77 on up, Corvette has always been just that's just the car. If I got money to burn or whatever, I'm getting one. And whether it be from 77 up, that's just my car. going forward with it. So I can definitely see that.
Black David, highlight Josh's last comment. He has a good point here from in here. All right, you want to read it off?
Asked them why the fascist BMW Lambo. We knew we were on in World War II. So for Josh, no German cars or no Italian, Germany and Italy. No. Josh still is going back, man. So even though a lot of these cars are made in the U.S., but I don't. Well, actually, I don't know if Beamers are made in the U.S., but I know a lot of Japanese cars. I don't know where Beamers, if they're still made pretty much in Germany or Italy or whatever. But
if Beamers are made in the United States, but I know some parts are made here for dealerships and stuff like that. But I will not buy a German car. Explain to you why. Every person I know has a German car has so many fucking issues with it. They just pulling their hair out. I know a buddy of mine, he bought 3 Beamers. I mean, Volkswagens, B-dubs, all different years. All right. And every single one broke down. At one point, he had no car. All 3 were out of commission.
Yeah.
And they were good back on the road, but he had to put a lot of work into them. I'm like,
right.
It's kind of funny. All of them are, golf cars. They're Volkswagen, German, and all of them have the same fucking problem.
Right.
He didn't say a word.
Yeah. But it's interesting too. It's I guess the value of the car, like in Germany, they're cabs, right? Or in Europe, they're cabs. But here they're luxury cars. So I don't know what's here about if we're talking about the same car essentially. Why is it that it's basically like just a commuter car, a touring car, or for taxis and cabs? It's so common in Europe, as a vehicle, but for here, we're willing to pay like 2-3 times as much for it here because we consider it a luxury car. So how much of this is reality? How much is perception? So maybe Europeans know that it's not worth the money, but we just decide to spend the money on it.
So here's the funny thing: in Greece, luxury is not BMW. Luxury is not Mercedes. Luxury is not Volkswagen. It's a normal everyday car. It's like a Ford for us here.
Right.
So,
well, do you guys have? I was going to ask you about that as well. Do you guys have in Greece like major roadway? First of all, is a car that commonly owned by the average Greek person? And if they do own cars, are they like larger cars? Are they smaller because of the road, the infrastructure? I mean, can you even have a big car in Greece and drive it around everywhere and whatnot? So what's the infrastructure like? What's available to the average family? And to the point you were making, what is considered, like I said, a luxury car? Like someone in Greece, he's driving his car. It's like, oh man, this guy's got money. So what is the
luxury to a Greek person is more like something big. Like a SUV. I'm saying it can be any kind of SUV. It doesn't. Brand has nothing to do with it. It's what you have in it, like what looks nice, what shine, bling bling, pretty much, if that makes sense. So, how many people own cars? Really depends where you're at. If you're in the country, almost everybody has a car because you need to get back and forth. Simple. You're not gonna go. You're not gonna call me. Hey, ela, moto. Hey, come on. That's not gonna take too long to get anywhere. But you have a lot of used market, a huge used market. But here's the funny part of the used market: a lot of the old cars don't have power steering. You're fighting with it. A lot power steering is still a new luxury in Greece, very new.
Really?
Yeah. For when I was leaving Greece back then, that's where it's coming in. It was literally just entering the market. Power windows, again, it was just entering the market. Back then, we had them for at least 10 years in the States.
Wow.
Remember, other countries are a little behind than us. All right.
Right.
The leaders in a lot of things. So you have to keep that in mind. So driving it in automatic, that's a luxury in Greece. It just now, the last maybe 5-10 years tops, are becoming more common. Now, even a Mercedes, for example, the highest class, whatever it is a C class, I think is the highest one. I'm like, you're gonna drive a stick. You're driving a stick. And when I tell people and they're scratching their heads like, huh? Like my dog is like, woo, woo, woo. I'm like, yeah, it's a stick. Like, I'm not paying like $80,000 for a stick. Like, yeah, you do. You don't likely have a choice. It's coming to the States now. It's like they say save gas, whatever the case is.
But what's the driving situation like? Does Greece have like turnpikes, like major multi-car lanes and things of that nature, so you can get around pretty easily, or is like traffic a problem because of the road?
One thing we
Like,
don't have, and just now I think is that they're just implementing it, is meters. Like when you're parking, have you drop the quarters or go put your credit card in the ATM kind of thing, and you get a sticker and you put it. That's a new thing that started now recently, but it's first come first serve. What they do have is what number is your license plate. If you're a high number, you can travel into Athens. You have a low number, you cannot travel. You have to take a taxi or bus. Yeah, there's like some families do have 2 cars. I know, but that's where they have a good jobs. I mean, usually,
right?
Parking is a nightmare. Oh, good luck with parking. I've seen people getting fist fights over that. Like, no, that's my park. No, that's my. I'm like, okay, it's yours. No, I'm not. I don't want. I'm like, nope. Seriously, yeah, the people get on fist fights over that, and because they want to park right in front of their houses, and like, sorry, first come first serve. Public parking.
Right. Wow.
Garage and driveways are a very new thing too. It's a luxury to have a garage or a driveway.
Yeah, I know we talked about that early on, that homes are smaller, they're more together and whatnot, so to have a garage or even a separate garage is not going to be common. But you said the average person in Greece, especially if you live in the country, they own a vehicle. That's pretty standard there.
Yeah, give or take. Motorcycles are more standard than
that's what I'm saying. Motorcycles are those what do they call them? The mopeds or the little so they're not scooters and whatnot. Yeah, I can certainly see that being a common mode of transportation.
Dirt bikes and another good one that you see a lot around because they're easy to get around. Simple. Helmets is like a new thing now. You don't have to wear a helmet actually. When I was going there, now it's starting to become a thing.
Right.
You have to wear a helmet. Before it wasn't a thing. But a lot of accidents do happen because you're in Athens. Right. Think about it. Think about it in New York. How many car accidents happen because of motorcycles? It happens. So I'm not saying is they for this, for that. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is you should wear a helmet. Simple as that. Because you don't know what can happen.
Right. I hear you.
Have you ever driven a bike?
Driven a motorcycle?
Yeah.
No, I it's interesting because I never had one growing up. When I don't know if you remember that TV show that used to be on, American Chopper.
I love that show.
Yeah, same here. So that kind of got me into like, okay, I think I want to ride a motorcycle. But we had a very close family friend of ours, and this guy, he actually taught motorcycle instruction, motorcycle safety, people getting their permits and whatnot. And unfortunately, he was killed in a tragic accident. Just over 40 years old, wife and 2 kids, and that kind of set a lot of us back. It was very, very gut wrenching. And then I kind of lost my appetite again. So I've never ridden a motorcycle. Now I would drive one of those, what they call it, the Vipers, the one with the 2 wheels in the front and the 1 wheel in the back. It drives like a car. The Venom or the Viper.
Slingshots or something like that. They call it
slingshots. Yes. Yeah. That I would definitely get. And again, you want to talk about, like I said, on the weekend. Like I said, if I'm driving down to the Jersey Shore, I could certainly see hopping in one of those guys, getting on the turnpike, driving down, or the Parkway and driving down to the Jersey Shore. Certainly to the and hanging out. Now, that's definitely a fun. That looks like a very fun weekend vehicle. Me and my wife getting that thing and drive. That I would definitely do. But I, from what I understand, I think it requires a motorcycle license. Technically, even though you're seated and you're driving with a steering wheel, I think it's still considered a motorcycle, and you would need a motorcycle permit in order to at least, I think in New Jersey, I think that's someone told me that.
I know because you can rent them under $500 for a day with a hotel.
Really?
Yeah, for a whole day. For 24 hours, you can rent it with a hotel. And they give you like the hotel room as a gift, like, hey, thank you for renting. Yeah, here's the competent hotel.
All right, that might have to be on my bucket list. Then that I can certainly see myself doing is getting.
I was like looking at myself. I just wanted something like this for kicks and giggles to do.
Yeah.
But the other one that I like is also the Can-Ams. I don't know if you've seen those.
Can-Ams?
Yeah, they're. I think BMU has one. I'm not mistaken because I know he's a biker.
Oh yeah. You should have put that. Okay.
Yeah, it's a reverse strike again. It's 2 wheels up front and 1 in the back. I love
right.
And because they're a little, I feel like I don't want to say they're safe, but they're probably a little safer versus a 2-wheeler.
Yeah. I recall now.
They're pricey too. They're not cheap. They're only the $40K around too. Some of them, it depends which model you get. They're different lines too.
Yeah. Josh saying like a few steps from a moped, but down from a chopper. He's talking about the Can-Ams. It's like a little, I guess it's a low CC bike, but yes, that would definitely be a fun. Or like I said, I can do a Jeep open wheel, open top and whatnot. I can certainly do one of. I can certainly do one of those. But now
I'll give you a fun fact really fast.
Yeah.
One of the guys who was in Rick, who was the fabricator in American Choppers, he
Yeah.
works up here now at the Harley Davidson in Tannersville, in PA.
Right.
He's a glass there. You can see him working. And if he has a few minutes, he come out and shake your hand, give some autographs and pictures. But I thought that was a fun fact, actually.
Right. So he broke off. So he has his own. So I guess the father even still alive?
Yeah, he's still alive.
So he still has the original shop, and then I think the son
They
left
were having
and
money
kind of started his
problems for a
own.
while because he went way too big with that new shop, and he didn't realize how big it was. It was like too big. Like he went he pretty much made a freaking whole like a factory almost in that store. I'm like, Jesus.
Right.
Like, I know his son, Junior, spent off after his contract expired.
Right.
Year end up and compete, and he's doing his own bike, and his bikes. Junior was the creative mind. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. Yeah.
And he's the one who created all the bikes, despite the Black Widow, if you remember.
Oh yeah. Well, my favorite one was the command. I think the copter helicopter bike that they made. That's my favorite from the show.
That was the Versus one. Junior did Versus. Remember, Junior versus Senior. That's where that copper bike came in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But he mounted that Cobra Assault chopper. Yeah, that to me is the sickest bike they made on the show. Really appreciate that. There
are a bunch of good bikes on that show. If you think about it, there's a lot of good bikes.
Right.
But I think they kind of lost value a little bit when they went downhill after the split off. You know what I'm saying? After they were sort of arguing.
Yeah. Sometimes that happens.
Watched it for the drama for the show. I'm not denying I did watch a little bit for the drama. I thought it was kind of funny actually. But I also watched it for the bikes too. I think the bikes were coming out some fucking bikes.
Yeah.
Like the New York Yankee bike, if you remember that was a nice one too.
That was nice. That was definitely a nice one. I like the Cadillac. I think they did that. The Cadillac STS. I think that was also
okay. I wasn't a fan of that too much, to be honest. I was not too much of a fan of that one. Right. But let me ask this question: what do you feel about racing?
What, auto racing?
Yeah.
I'm a bit. I go in and out of seasons with it. Obviously, I grew up like an IndyCar fan. So again, Mario Andretti, he was my favorite race car driver. So again, the Indy 500 was like must see. Now back in the day, it was tape delayed. So really, it was about you didn't want to know who won the race because they always showed the race in prime time that night, Sunday night. So you never wanted to find out who won before the races started. But then once they started doing it live, then I got into it. Then I fell off when they had the split in, I think it was 96 from the from kart and IRL split. And so they had like two separate series there for a while. Then I kind of fell out of favor with it because I know the IRL cars, they were slower. And I was always one thing I always look forward to with the races was every year they were breaking speed records. So it was like, who broke 230, 240, and whatnot. And then they decided to pull back, I guess, for safety reasons. So the cars, couldn't go faster. But I look forward to it like a 250 mile an hour race car. But they say, hey, that's just too much. And so they pulled it back. I've watched it a bit more since they come back. But honestly, though, I'm an oval guy, which is one of the reasons, NASCAR, I got into NASCAR like in the mid 2000s. Again, Jeff Gordon. I know a lot of people for some reason hate Jeff Gordon.
Oh, I love Jeff Gordon. He's my man.
Yeah, but I love Jeff Gordon. Back in the day, I think he changed the image of NASCAR. Man, that's tough, man. What you do?
Josh is on fire tonight.
He's on fire tonight, man. He's killing me. But
he's like Machine Gun Kelly over there.
But see, now I would go. Now I remember we were going to Maryland. We went through Delaware, and I guess that was the weekend where they have, because I know Delaware has a big track down there. Mm-hmm. That was the first time I got a sense of the size of the NASCAR fan. Like, I've been to football games, I've been to football stadiums and cookouts and the tailgates and things of that nature. I had never seen anything like that. Imagine like 5 giant stadiums. right? Because you just went through like pockets of people. So it's like this one tailgate that was like a stadium size, and there was another one. I was like, where are these cars? And it didn't register until we passed the racetrack. So, oh, this is the Dover race. But for the first time that let me know how big, because I always thought NASCAR was just some sort of fringe sport. But the fan base, even though it may not get as much place, I know they showed it on Fox for a while. Dow War Trip, Boogity Boogity Boogity, Let's Go Racing Boys. I used to love hearing that before a race started. But that's when it really hit me how big the audience was. But I would love to go to a NASCAR event. I don't know how welcome I'd be. But show my face. Show my face.
A lot of people are welcome to it.
Yeah.
So I don't I don't know what to tell you. Hang on one second. Yes, mother. I'm live. How can I help you? Todo hi, sabi dia.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
Hi, everybody.
How you doing?
How are you?
I'm doing great. Doing great. Good to see you.
Yeah.
So, my back.
Okay.
Yeah, she missed being on
Keep
live.
plugging away.
I gotta fix this really fast. Give me a second, guys.
Okay, not a problem. Not a problem.
But as I'm saying, doing this, I'm talking to you guys at the same time. Okay, so I'm a big NASCAR is a NASCAR track not too far from here. The Pocono.
That's right. You have Pocono, right?
Yes, I've been there actually.
Yeah.
I got lucky when I was born. I went up there with a couple of friends, and I got free tickets because they were their parents. I can't remember, parents or somebody was volunteering to doing security, so they got free tickets. Here you go, Mom.
Thank you.
No problem.
Bye-bye.
See you later. See you next time. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, our special guest of the night. We got Hercules down here. I mean, Alex down here, and
Right.
we got Anna. Come on, go to mommy. So I got a little nice treat because I got the VIP treatment. I was behind the pits, I asked guys like, "Can I get a lug nut?" They go, "Here." They're just throwing them at me. I'm like, "Oh," I'm like, "Cool."
Yeah.
So it was a nice little treat. It was a good race. Nothing crazy. Like it was like one or two guys. They're called fighting, but they were just shoving people back and forth. Security broke them, kicked them out. But that is humongous.
Right.
When you say it's humongous, I have drove around it because I used to. When I first moved up here, the racetrack from my house where I lived in Emerald Lakes, and that's in Pocono Lake, the racetrack. Like maybe 15, 20 miles tops. So before all the houses were built, you can hear the race. You go, vroom, vroom. And like if there's no wind, you can hear it perfectly. I used to turn the TV off and you just hear him going around in circles.
Right.
And it was the thing. The reason I want to mention racing, Greece culture has a humongous racing community.
Well, yeah, it's definitely Formula One, right? That's it.
Formula's one, and I can't remember which one is that. They race 24 hours with two drivers.
Le Mans, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Le Mans is that's humongous in Greece.
I can see that.
Formula's big,
I tried to get into Formula One, but I can't deal with the road course. I saw this for the first time. I saw the entire Monaco race this year. It was the same day as the Indianapolis 500. And they got into an accident like the first lap. It was like a major pileup. Cars were like literally getting wedged and lifted up in the air and crashing and everything. It was so boring to watch. So it's like, am I watching an auto race or am I watching Demolition Derby? Because those cars are so, close together with the road courses. You can't get an appreciation for the speed of the race. That's why, again, I've always been an oval guy. So again, the fastest oval, I wish there would be more, but Indy 500 is clearly, it's technically, it's not the biggest track. I think Talladega is the biggest. It's 2.66 miles around. So that's the biggest one. But again, Indy cars can't ride on the NASCARs because again, the angles of the banks, it's like, 30 degrees plus. So those Indy cars fly off the track. In fact, they stopped that. They used to ride on those NASCAR tracks, but they had some like back in like the late '60s. They had all these accidents. All these Indy cars were spinning out.
Actually,
so they never went back.
Pocono Raceway has Indy race now up here.
No, I'm saying the super speedways. Like I said,
Talladega,
Talladega, Daytona, they won't run the Indy cars there because those banks are ridiculous. I mean, it's almost like you're driving sideways.
It's like
it's like you're driving sideways.
160 degrees, I think it is, or is it more?
It's steep. It's very steep in those corners. Indianapolis, the Indy 500, again, those it's almost like a square oval. Those angles are not nearly as big. So the NASCARs run there. The Brickyard 400, they run at Indy, but as far as if you want to see IndyCar racing at its fastest, without question, it's going to be at Indy. All those other tracks are like 1.5 mile ovals. Indy is 2.5 miles. And you're going to see the last 2 years have been sensational. I mean, especially the finishes, with the races running in the final laps and everything. New Gardner has won back to back. Very exciting, very intense. My wife, who's not into racing at all, we're watching like the last 10 laps of the race. And she's like enthralled in it because, again, it's like, New Gardner and the guy from Mexico, they're going at it trying to win the race. Very exciting. But Pocono was just like I tried. It was like the event was like 4.5 hours long because they're cleaning up the track. I mean, you had so many pileups and everything. You got to clean stuff off. Indy, they'll clean it up or whatever. You're usually starting out in like 20 minutes. It's like an hour delay in Pocono. I mean, in the Monaco because of all the crashes there. So, except it's from a visual point of view. For me, it's not good to watch. But I would definitely much rather watch Daytona, Talladega, Indy 500. Those are by far my three
Here's my
best
pushback
races.
A little bit. All right. So it depends on how much a fan you are. When I was in my 2004, 2005, I think it was 2004, 2005, because where Earnhardt died. I just started getting into when he died. And if you're a hardcore fan, it doesn't matter what track you're a fan.
Right.
So here's two things I want to mention. Number one, when you're actually a live event, there's a lot of things to fucking do there. You're not gonna be watching half
totally.
race.
Yeah.
I was
unfortunately now with Indy, they're saying that half the people there aren't even there for the race. So they got this big concert thing that goes on now. I just watched a documentary on how they totally renovated the track and everything. It is like it's happening. It's 500,000 people, but half the people there, they got so much stuff going on. It's like with all these stadiums and arenas now, they got so much stuff there. It's like, why even watch the game? You take your kids to a baseball game. They got amusement parks and amenities and driving courses and stuff. It's like, it's like you're not even there to watch the game anymore.
When I went to the football game, I was at Jets versus Seahawks.
Yeah,
you're watching the game. It was maybe it's different for football than other ones, but it's been a couple of years. I'm planning to go on this year actually. But what I was going to say, one thing that turned me off in NASCAR. This is where I was kind of like drifting off it, not because I lost interest. I just didn't have time. I was growing up, obviously, less time for sports. Work could come about, school, girl, you get the idea.
Mm-hmm.
So when they start manipulating the point system, so you could win a championship without winning a race, not even one.
Which I don't like. I don't like that at all.
I hate that idea.
Yeah.
To this day, I think it's the stupidest fucking idea in the world.
Yeah. You're saying the best of the average.
Yeah.
I mean that's
Yeah, no offense to drivers out there. I respect you guys. I had after you guys all that.
Right now, I don't mind if it's like if you're talking about because again, once you get into like whether it be the Winston Cup or actually, say I'm old school. They used to call it the Winston Cup. I don't know what it.
Yeah, I remember.
I don't know what it is now, but I remember back in the day in the prime, I was looking at the Winston Cup or whatever. But in those, I could understand for qualifying, like if for the guys who are marginal and you're trying to get into the series, into the race for the Cup. I can understand points being done then, but if you win a race, to me, like you're automatically in. You know what I mean? It's like it shouldn't be even a contest, but I can certainly see the guys at the bottom, trying to get in. But absolutely, you should not be awarding a championship to somebody who's never won a race the entire year. I just don't like that that kind of model. And yeah, I just think, or certainly if you get into the tournament, it should be all for whoever wins the race wins the series. So you can do it that way, like have the points to qualify, but once you get like in the final 2 or 3 races, the winner is the champion. You only did all that stuff just to qualify, but whoever wins this race is the champion, regardless of what you did the entire year.
I agree 100%. 100%. So right now they have it as it's Xfinity, Crashman, and they're now the other the Cup is once the Cup is just called the Cup because I guess they keep changing sponsors so much.
Yeah. It's definitely.
It was Sprint at one time. I know it was Sprint Cup Series because
right.
the whole tobacco thing was inappropriate, It went from a beer company to Coca-Cola to Geico to Xfinity. It's been going back and forth.
Exactly.
So I
yeah.
think that, again, I'm guessing a little bit of I think this is called a cup. So every time they change sponsor, they don't have to redo everything.
Right.
It makes more
Right.
sense
Right.
to do that.
Yeah.
But the point system, it makes no sense. Listen, no offense to the president of NASCAR back then who came up with this idea. I think he's an idiot because I think you should at least ruin at least one fucking race. One fucking race.
Yeah.
It's not that much fast. One fucking race. Sorry,
Yeah.
I had to go. Buddy.
Yeah, whether it be on the major or, and I think every race needs to be, again, have more points. Winning Talladega or Daytona should have more, sway than say Monaco or whatever. So I definitely
And it makes me laugh to have this
it's great.
playoffs.
Ooh.
I'm like, this goddamn playoff thing. Like towards the end, okay, let's have playoffs. Ding, no, fuck you. I'm like,
I don't mind. I don't mind if the winner of the championship is based on the person who wins. Like I said, you can have a point system staggered up until a certain point. Then we judge winners by wins and losses. All right. So you can do that. But the winner of the cup, the guy who wins the last race of the year, if this is like for all the marbles, to me should be the champion. The guy who comes in last, a lot of times you don't even have to finish. And it's like you win overall. This isn't like the heptathlon or something like that. So I definitely agree that
you know what? It makes me wonder if Earnhardt was still alive, how he would like the point system, because he was a beast behind the wheel. You cannot take him away from him. Hate him or love him, I don't care. He was a monster behind the wheel.
Yeah,
Daytona was his nemesis. Daytona 500 was his nemesis.
Right.
But you put him behind that fucking wheel, any kind of car, Ford, Chevy, Toyota. And that's the other bone I got picked. When the fuck did Toyota become an American brand? Like
half the cars are made here. What, they're made in South Carolina or something like what?
No, the key thing with NASCAR was supposed to be American brand only. Key word.
Money.
Talk, I know.
Absolutely.
But it's a hardcore NASCAR fan will sit there and tell you, when the fuck did NASCAR became so political? And that's why there's a lot of politics going on now behind the wheel.
It was. I think it's always been political. But again, like I said, for a long time, I think in terms of Gen Pop, for some reason, like I said, that was my wake up call when I drove through Dover. I had no idea how big it was. So it's like it might be like the biggest subculture like in the country, or it depends on where you live. Now, maybe if I lived in the South, I know my parents are from the South. Maybe if I lived there, I would have a different view of it. But, and again, for those of you I know, Lost, I know he lives in the South. For all you guys who live in the South, is it? I think NASCAR has always kind of been certainly the conservative, at least the conservative leaning type of enterprise. I think certainly as politics has gotten more polarized in the country, so is the sports, and certainly I think it appears at this point that they're more political. But I think they've always been sort of who they are, and they've always had. That was one of the things with Jeff Gordon that was refreshing, because he wasn't that skull sucking, Tabasco chewing. I don't like to use the term, but yeah, he was that. He changed that image. The guy was from Cali, right? So he definitely
he was a city boy.
Yeah, but he changed the image. And people can hate on Jeff Gordon all you want to, but then the guy who came after, Jimmy Johnson, he was also from Cali. So Jeff Gordon and then Jimmy Johnson, who came after them, they changed the image of NASCAR.
I didn't know Jimmy was from Cali, the city boy too. I know most of Earnhardt, like for example, he was a big country boy, because I remember he's all his family's been racing, but when he got into racing, racing wasn't really made money. But if you go down to South, dude, even amateur racing, every Friday or Saturday night when they do the amateur racing nights, that is a crazy crowd. They had a show. It's
an experience.
They had a show on History Channel. I can't remember the name of it. It wasn't American Cars or whatever. It was a different one. And they were talking about drag, NASCAR's type of cars, stock cars. People will not pay their mortgage to get parts to race the next day. That's how big it is.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a little bit too much in my opinion.
Joshua is not a fan of Jeff Gordon, but look, he changed NASCAR.
Who asked you, Josh?
He changed the image
He
of
did.
it. It wasn't the
him
good
and
old
Earnhardt.
boys. It wasn't the Southern boys. And again, and Jimmy Johnson was even more successful, arguably than
Let me ask
Jeff
you this,
was.
brother. Do you remember the UPS commercials?
Vaguely, I'd have to go back and look, but yeah, somewhat, but not.
I used to love those commercials because they wanted to be like, when are you gonna race the UPS truck in NASCAR? I
Yeah,
think it was hilarious. Or I remember the one kid goes, "I'm gonna hold your breath till you go." And like, there you go. They were funny.
Yeah, no,
And-
they went mainstream. They absolutely went. I mean, look, shout out to Richard Petty and the Hat. Again, we talk about Dale Earnhardt and all those guys back in the day. Again, there was an image, like I said, Dow Waltrip and Cale Yarborough. Like like I said, I go back with all of those guys. I mean, so again, I'm not hating on him, but Jeff definitely made it. Plus, he was young. In fact, what was that movie with Tom Cruise? We played the race car driver.
Days of Thunder.
Days of Thunder. Yeah, I think a lot of that was kind of inspired by Jeff Gordon. I mean, yeah, again, he was that guy. He was that guy who made NASCAR cooler to younger audiences. I just, at least to different regions of the country. Like guys in the East and certainly in the West Coast and the East Coast started paying attention to auto racing. I think a lot more when you had Gordon and Jimmy Johnson. When those guys started to take over and start to dominate from the Dale and even Dale Earnhardt Jr. Even though he's from the South, but again, he was kind of part of that group also. So those three drivers, the young studs, the young lions, who would definitely change the perception of the of the industry. So again, love them or hate them, those guys did a lot. I think for NASCAR to where it is today. Now I think where NASCAR, I think where it might have gone off a little bit is when they went to that stock car model. So after the Earnhardt death, they came out with that car of tomorrow design, which a lot of people didn't like. It became because I think part of the charm of NASCAR all those years was you had all these different types of cars and chassis in the event. Again, they were usually based off of street cars, which they souped up to be the race car. And I think a lot of people went into that car. But no, I remember when Car Tomorrow came out, everybody hated it. It was just like, ugh, these are ugly. There's no character on the cars or whatever, and it just became very cookies. So yes, I think they did it for safety, but I think it lost a bit of its charm with certain fans when they went to that model. And now that I think they use a Toyota chassis right now and some other chassis now. I think that they're on generation 6 or 7 with the COT right now. So it's definitely it's different, but yeah, back when I used to watch back in like the late 70s and early 80s, every dude had like a different car. Like literally, you in the garage, you custom did it. I mean, obviously it had certain standards on the engines, but the exterior of the car, it could be they were using Lincolns, they were using Fords, they were using Chevys, they were using whatever. They could Dodge. They used any car they could in order to race with back then.
Here's where I think where it kind of took a twist a little bit. So in NASCAR, when the car of tomorrow came out, I didn't think it looked like a bad car personally, but that's the first time they actually had to do standards. The standards came in with Earnhardt's death because now you had to wear the harness. They didn't like the harness. Now you had to wear the full helmet. We don't like the full helmet.
Yeah.
Everything they put, there was a pushback, and they said enough is enough. This is what it is. We don't want to hear another word out of you. This is not a union. You can say you have your committee and bullshit like that. This is the car for tomorrow. Here's the specs. You just follow the specs. You can design it any way you want, as long as you're in the specs. And unfortunately, the specs kind of took away a little bit of the character, like you said. I thought looking at a nice car overall. I don't think it was a bad car looking. And that's not good as the older, the 90s, stuff like that. But, every generation you have like the haters and lovers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things like, come on now. Think about drag racing. I'll give you an example. You have the old school real car with drag race. Then you have your modification cars that go up to a
funny car. Yeah, they call it the funny car. Yeah.
Thank you. And so those funny cars have a great look to them. If you think about it, they're not the greatest. They look stupid in my opinion. To be honest with you,
Right.
like there are a bunch of those. Again, if they're now actually, if we realize popularity now lately is seen, fucking what's it called, racing shows, TV shows, like reality shows, like a good one, Street Outlaws. They're taking a car and racing, and that's all down in the South. Hey, lost money, know a couple of these guys. But my point, seriously, it's very popular shows on, I don't know how many seasons now, but it's the same thing over. Somebody, I challenge you for a race. Okay, how much you want to put down? 500. Okay, win.
Yeah.
Again, over and over and over. But the drama keeps people coming back. Like, who's arguing who's doing that? And like, seriously, like, is it still racing or is it more a drama show now? That's the question I have right now. What do you think?
Rephrase the question to me one more time. I just want to make sure.
Is it more a racing show now, or is it more a drama series? Racing?
All if it's on TV, it's total drama. That's what gets the that's what gets the ratings. You got to get the ladies watching and whatnot. So yeah, it's the racing is irrelevant at this point. So absolutely.
If you think about go ahead.
No, finish your point, then I'll go into the next. So you kind of segue into another point I wanted to get into tonight, but go ahead.
Yeah, this is funny because NASCAR's ratings dropped when they stopped fighting in the middle of the field. Tony Stark was not Tony Stewart. I'm sorry, I missed. Two different characters.
Right.
They got into it a couple of times. He used to fight with a lot of people. He used to jump off the barriers. Fist fighting. They're still fighting a little bit.
Right.
But back then, when Tony Stewart was in it, he used to bob some real fucking heads.
But that was kind of the charm. Now, again, with the NASCAR, one of the charms was the drivers themselves. Again, I think this is one of the reasons why people hated Jeff Gordon. Because, again, you had some tough guys. Again, these were, like I said, these were some good old boys. Jeff was like 5'6", 5'7". He wasn't going to scrap with anybody.
Yeah, it was like
but back then, you had some tough guys with big time personality. So again, you were drawn to the driver more so than his car or the whatever. I've been the big, but Jeff was very corporate, very PC, where he's like, oh yeah, we can sell Coke, we can sell this, that with like you said, the UPS commercial. You could Josh just continued talking about Jeff Gordon trying too much. But look, he was Madison Avenue. He was marketable. All right. Those other guys, you see him in a Skoal commercial for the Skoal. I'll put something between my cheek and gum and get real tobacco flavor for hours at a time. And that was the thing. Tobacco commercials and that was it. But Jeff went public. Jeff put a suit on, right? He was corporate, and I think that rubbed a lot of people. that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. So again, but they were known for that. Like IndyCar really has never had that big an image of a person that actually sold the sport, because I think Indy, again, everybody was kind of PC. Like I said, I like Mario Andretti, but you didn't have a lot of hotheads. You had the Unser brothers back then. You had Al Unser Jr. Yeah, Rick Mears, and those the Penske team was considered like the team everybody hated because they had all the best drivers and they had all the best cars and they had all the money. So everybody hated, you either loved or hated Team Penske, and everybody else was like fighting against Team Penske at the time in the certainly in those Indy days, and even now, because they're talking about they have too much power and control in the sport. But you never had like big time personalities. Like I said, AJ Foyt back in the day might have been one of those guys or something, but today everyone's corporate now. But back then, when you had, like I said, guys fighting in pit row and all that kind of stuff, and you wreck me and I'm going after you and all that kind of stuff, that's why the fans were so passionate about it, because again, the drivers were passionate and they had passionate fans, and I think that's what draw a lot of people. Where again, people became lifers for some of these drivers, but for Jeff and Jimmy, that was like, oh, this is exactly what corporate America was looking for. We're looking for some guys, because obviously it's a huge fan base. We're looking for some guys who can really, we can get some penetration with. And they did. No Diddy.
Oh, okay. So, like, people could show Gordon, but people forget he might put a suit on, but now he's behind a mic.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, he's
Arnold
perfect for
Jr.,
TV.
He's
Perfect.
doing it too.
Yeah. But even the personalities of the guys, like again, Dow. I don't know if Dow Wartrip still does races anymore, but you always had like the straight man. It was like Monday Night Football. I don't know if you remember Monday Night Football from back in the day when you had Howard Cosell and you had Don Meredith and you had who's the guy who played for the Giants? Well, it's like the 3-man booth. So you had the good Southern boy with the turn out the lights, the party's over. So you always had in the NASCAR booth, you had the real old school kind of Southern guy. You had the straight kind of corporate guy, and then you had the guy calling the play-by-play or whatever. He was like the straight. He was like the the straight guy in the sport. So you always had those guys a part of it. I don't know what the booth is now. I don't know if you have that mix of personalities, but again, a lot of characters. You followed NASCAR for the characters as much as you did the driving. Indy was more about just the car, like the speed, 220, 230, 240, the race itself. NASCAR was definitely more about the personalities again, but where it is now, like I said, I've been kind of out of touch with it. Josh is going ham on Jeff Gordon right now, but I want to get to another point here, since you kind of intimated a little bit. Movies. All right, so obviously over the years, you've had a lot of movies, especially in the
jumping through his camera and beating you.
Exactly, which I almost think has ruined the cars for me. I mean, I hate I must say I hate the Fast and Furious franchise. After third or fourth one, I hated it. After Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was in there for a couple, I fell off because it became ridiculous. But I just want to go back before we get there, because I want to finish with that. I want to go back in time, right? So I know obviously in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s, you've always had cars, these iconic cars that were associated with films or TV or franchises. So you had, again, in the 60s, you had the Batmobile, the classic Batmobile from the 1966 Batman. You had the Green Hornet car. All right, so I don't know if you remember that. If you ever watched those old school episodes of the Green Hornet, you had that car. Then you had in the 70s, again, probably my favorite car of all time, the 1978 black Trans Am.
Knight Rider?
From Smokey and the Bandit. Okay. Again, 1978. It's got the Firebird. Look up the 1978 Pontiac Trans Am with the Firebird on it or whatnot. Again, classic car. Then you get to 1982 Trans Am Knight Rider with Kit. And I'm just naming for you again off rip my favorite cars. I already talked about the 1971 Mach 1 from Diamonds Are Forever. I also got to give you another Bond car from The Spy Who Loved Me, that 1977 White Lotus that went into the water and had the submarine to it. So I just gave you my top 5 greatest cars in movie or TV history. I want to know yours, and then we can go to the Fast and Furious series. So again, you got the classic 1966 Batmobile. You have the Green Hornet car, right? You have the 78 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. You have the 77 White Lotus from The Spy Who Loved Me. You have Kit from Knight Rider series back in the 80s. So that's my top 5, right? So what are your favorite movie cars? And I'm talking about real cars. I'm not talking about, well, I know the Bond car is not necessarily real, but I'm not talking about some ridiculous car, but just famous rides from movies that you've seen that's not so high tech, like the car doesn't fly or anything like that. But just give me your
car. The number one car on my list is always going to be the Mustang 500. Gone from 6 Seconds. It was my favorite movie. Still is my favorite car movie to this day. With Nicolas Cage, Hatch of him. That was literally one of my second place. we talked about it already. Guns, Days of Thunder. I'm sorry, Days of Thunder is another car. I
Right,
like.
right.
Movie. Now I'm not that too many of them. Another one a lot of people have missed it off their radar is Driven with
Yeah,
shit,
I remember. It was Stallone.
Thank you, Stallone.
Yeah.
Very, very underappreciated movie. People didn't realize how good it was. It's
Well, that
very
might be
good.
the only Indy car related movie that I've ever seen. I don't know if there've been others, but I know there've been some NASCAR movies, but I've never seen an Indy movie or at least using those type of cars. So that might be the only one that might have been out there.
Then you have some historical movies that came out recently, like Toyota versus Ford versus shit. What is it called now? My brain just vote. Shit. Trying to remember which one it is called. Fuck. It's a for what is it called? I'm trying to think of it. Ferrari versus something. I can't remember right now the name of the movie. I gotta look it up. Give me 1 second, Paul. It's gonna bug the crap out of me. Okay.
So again, for those in the chat, want to know from you in terms of either from a movie or from a TV show, what is your favorite car? All right. So again, I gave you my top 5 from movies and TV. All right, from the '66 Batmobile to the '77 Lotus from Spy Who Loved Me to the '78 Pontiac Trans Am. What is your favorite movie car of all time? So if you want to drop that in chat, please share that. Go ahead, Peter.
Ford versus Ferrari was one of the movies I actually really enjoyed.
Okay, got it.
They're very good. There are a bunch of them out there. This is the classic one. I know it's a little far-fetched, and King Smith is going to agree with me with it, is Back to the Future. Not the flying future car. I mean, the car.
No, I got you. Yeah. No, the DeLorean was certainly that's certainly in my top 10. No question, not the flying DeLorean, but just the DeLorean. I saw a few when went to some car shows. Again, I saw the Lotus from the Spy Who Loved Me there. I saw the DeLorean, or an actual DeLorean car at the car show. So again, love the DeLorean. No diss on that. That was certainly a nice car.
Last list movie, and this is again underestimated, is Rush. That's another Formula One movie.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
That was actually, I was surprised how good it was actually.
Yeah.
And I got curious. There are a bunch of them. You just have to look for them. They don't make them as much, but within due, hands down. I heard a Grand Prix or whatever it's called. That was actually a really good movie. They said it came out in 2023, a year ago almost. They said it was actually a really. I haven't seen it. That's what I heard. But let's touch base on the everybody's favorite movie franchise, Fast and the Flame.
Before I gotta mention one more car, honorable mention. All right, that goes to the list. Okay, so again, the pursuit vehicle for Mad Max, 1979, the Ford Special. I gotta put that up there. That's definitely in my top 10. It can make it even an argument for the top 5. But that car was a sick car for back in the day, and that's certainly an iconic car that's been in several movies of the Mad Max franchise. But definitely, it was definitely up there. So again,
I got one more too.
That was a Ford Falcon XB, by the way.
Yeah. I got one more too. I'm not a Dodge fan, but I'll give him this: Dukes of Hazzard.
Until I got PC, I would have added that in. I grew up watching Dukes of Hazzard. I could sing the theme song to that show to this day. I can still recite the entire song. I loved the show growing up, but then when it got PC, and I knew it got PC because I think those guys they were in a commercial a few years ago, and they took the Confederate flag off the General Lee. So you knew we were in different times then. But back then, we knew nothing. We were kids. So we knew nothing about the Confederacy. Well, we learned a little bit, but for some reason, we didn't put 2 to 2 together. It's like, the Confederate flag back then. But we were just not as naive. But yeah, we used to watch that. That used to come on Friday night, followed by Dallas, and then Falcon Crest after that. So for you old heads who go back to the 80s, that was the thing. Dukes of Hazzard, Dallas, and Falcon Crest in that order. That was your Friday night viewing growing up. So again, shout out to the show. But yes, the General Lee, I would have done it. But I've always been a fan of the Charger though. that Dodge Charger car, even from back then, or even like I said, the one that Ice Cube had in that in his last movie with Kevin Hart. Again, sick car. I was still on a Charger. Look to a Charger souped up. I think it's a nice looking car.
There's some great cars. I'm not denying that. There's some beautiful cars out there. But some other ones are like, oh God, why? But I really want to touch base with this whole thing.
Okay.
I mean, Fast and Furious. I'm sorry, the Fast
Doing
and Furious.
too much.
Josh has me going with Jeff Gordon. Stop hitting on my man. He's my boy. Me and him go way back. He helped me win $500 on his one championship, 2004 actually. But anyway, so actually, fun fact, really fast. Me and my art teacher put $500 bet. Jeff Gordon's going to the championship. He lost $500 and I won.
Oh wow!
Yeah, my art teacher.
I went hard. Yep.
Yeah. So I liked them all the way to Paul Walker died. I knew they were changing, and I was okay with a change, but not to the flying a car out of the plane, hitting people with it, whipping them, landing on a plane, then going on the other one, then killing other people. Yeah. I'm like, and the car has no damage, and you drive away. Yeah. Now you have John Cena. Again, no offense to John Cena, and I think he's becoming a very good actor. He's, Dominic is lost brother or some shit like that. He's an assassin with his little Pee Wee car. He puts a button, then he fired bombs at her. Like, are you goddamn serious? Now, the first one I thought was a pretty decent movie. I'm not going to deny it. It's not as realistic, wet flashing, double shipping, notch. No, that stuff we know that's bogus. So the second one, again, fake, but it was enjoyable. It was a little bit believable, but not as believable. Okay, this is bullshit, this movie, but I can see a car jumping over a bridge, for example. All right.
No, never.
Stunt car, man. Not like a real life.
They used to do that stuff back in the day, like on Wild World of Sports, when you had like Evel Knievel, and then you had these guys jumping over stuff with it. But again, most of the time they crashed out. It didn't end well for most of those. I believe that more than jumping on a goddamn plane with no parachute down a fucking hill, then off another cliff, and then back on the highway. That I can't believe. All right. So then what was it? Tokyo Drift. Okay, that was pretty. I'll give them that. I don't know too much about Tokyo's drifting scene down there. But I know the drifting shit in the time was coming. It was 4-4s. Then you had him coming back and all this stuff. Okay, I can believe some of it, but I know it's the entertainment. The key word, entertainment. I got it. But now it's getting to the point like they're selling tickets. That's all they're doing. And they keep milking it. They should end it when Paul Walker died and he seemed drifting away. And could have ended it right there. I would be very happy with that ending. I think that's what it was like. The bank robbing and all that stuff. Okay, it was far-fetched. It was, but not to the point like it is now. After that one, it went too far for me. Yeah.
It went from Earth to Pluto. I'm like, I don't get it. Go ahead. Your turn.
Nah, I again doing too much. I like the addition of again Fast 5 with when they had Dwayne Johnson. I liked him. I thought he was a good foil to Tarantino. At the time, so I mean Toretta, it was good. I mean, I would probably give you some grace for 6 because again, I think The Rock, he might have been in 3 of them, either 2 or 3 of them. I forget.
2, 2 and 1 spinoff.
Right.
And he's supposed to come back soon because Vin Diesel and him got squashed their beefs. Money talks. Right.
Yeah. So those So I could rock with it up to then because I thought adding him to the lineup or to the roster, I thought that I think that injected some life into it. Because honestly, by the time you got to 4, I was kind of starting to fade out a little bit. But Dwayne Johnson, obviously, he was certainly making the transition, leaving wrestling, and I think he really started coming to his own at that point. And so, certainly I thought that added something to it. So it was almost like him and Toretta going at it in a fight or whatever. There's like, okay, so there's like who's gonna take that, who's going to, come on top there. So it was entertaining up to that point. But then afterwards, they're jumping from cliff to cliff and from, like you said, from heights that just gravitationally just don't make any sense, and it just became too much. So I fell out.
So where I'm gonna
after
cut
that,
him a
yeah.
little slack is okay. I have the whole series in front of me right now. So
Yep.
Fast and Furious to 01, okay. 23, Too Fast, Too Furious, okay. Then you had Tokyo Drift.
And I got to give it credit.
Okay.
I mean, give it credit though, because outside of maybe the Bond series or whatever, and you don't even have the same people in the Bond series.
Yeah.
But to have a series that's been up for over 20 years, and you still essentially have the same core cast in it. Look, I can't argue with the business. So again, salute to those guys, but able to maintain this as long as they did, because you typically don't get past 2 or 3 movies like the John Wick series or something like that. You know, they're not even up to that yet. So for them to have that kind of longevity
is a
is
young series
hey,
versus everything else. So
salute.
you can't compare versus apples. So, but I will say now, then you have Fast and Furious 09, good still. I'm not keeping okay. I keep always okay because I was like, wow, I gotta watch it. Then you got Fast 5. Again,
That's the one where The Rock makes his debut. Yep.
Then you have Fast 6. And then that's Rock is in it 2, I believe. Hang on, let me check right now.
Yeah, he is. He's in two, if not 3 of them.
Now,
and then I think then you also
7.
Yeah.
Now you're going into 7. It gets a little funky at 7. And The Rock's not in 7. That's where the bank actually he is. I'm sorry. So he has 3 movies right there.
Right.
Something. 1 second, to make sure. Cash. There's 1.
I think wasn't Rousey in 7?
3. Yes, she is actually. She's one of the top casts.
Yeah.
So okay, you got 3 with The Rock at this point. All right. Then when you go into the Faith of the number 8, that's where it gets for me. It starts losing the touch of it. He was, that's where The Rock had small appearance, like he jumped in. Hey, gay baby off for your fucking head, dickhead, and kind of Fun fact, actually, he added that line, and it wasn't actually put in the script. And this character was pretty funny, actually.
Right.
Now where it jumps off cliff for me is when it goes to Fast 9, and I just lost interest at this point. I'm like, I will watch it because somebody said, "Hey, just put it on." Okay, I don't want to watch it, but if you want to put it on, I'll give you the better of the doubt and not watch it. They're okay. Actually, I'm afraid they'd be under okay. I was saying, if it's free, I'll watch it. It's nothing else.
Right. Yeah.
Now they're the next 2 movies are supposed to be. They already did the first of part 1 is Fast 10, part 1, and part 1 came out. Part 2, that one it's too far for me. Now it's more like a James Bond with cars. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because you have one of the here's the actor. I'll give you a couple of good actors. You have Jason Momoa, great fucking actor. I'm surprised he's even in the movie.
Right.
They probably paid him really well. Is that desperate? I think they pay him that well.
Right. Well, in the series, isn't he related to Dwayne Johnson in the movie or something like that? Aren't they like? Okay, I thought they might have been related or something like that. It might have been like a cousin of his because he is of Samoan descent, just like The Rock is. So
yeah,
so
but I don't think they're on the same clan. That's
okay. Got you.
Then you have the guy who played in Richard, who played in one of the what's called Richard series. He was actually a very good actor. Again, I'm surprised he's in it. Then you have the basic people. Everybody's coming back, like reviews, and now they're talking about freaking The Rock is supposed to be coming back a part 2. Yeah, he's actually right in the list of that. I'm like, come on, when enough is enough? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When are you? Yeah. I remember watching something on what was it, YouTube or something? They had The Rock and all of them in the wheelchairs. They had the power scooters and like souped up like Fast and Furious part 100, and let's go. I'm like, seriously, like when is enough is enough? You got to pull the plug eventually, and I think we're getting to the point where you need to pull the plug and walk away. But where it's still money to be made. That's what people. If you keep watching these movies and going back and ordering them and everything, they're gonna make money. But when they lose money? When it's free on demand. Simple. Wait. If you want to watch.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, but I don't know if the franchise is worth a theater release anymore. Now, I remember going back to Fast. It might have been Fast 5 or Fast 6. I know there was a new thing. I don't know if you call them remember the movie theaters. They actually put these special seats. So if you had like a certain ticket, they had these custom seats in the front row that would move. It was almost like a roller coaster ride. It would move and shake and go left and go right. Yeah, so they tried all these sort of innovative ways to get, especially for the younger crowd, to get them, certainly into the theaters. And so I think it's been, I think the juice is, all the juice is out of the is out of the limit at this point. I mean, again, they can let it die, or if you want to do a reboot or something else, and maybe get back to a more grounded car-based film instead of, like you said, like the James Bond. Or like that, or worse, just the car tricks, or just, again, it's like, now even with professional wrestling, there has to be a suspension of belief in order to enjoy it. But I think they're taking it to a point now. It's just,
they want to continue it and kind of like, not to do a spin-off, but kind of change directions, like kind of like, okay, let's get the cars element out of there and just say they're special agents now. Okay, I might not believe it, but it'd be more entertainment than seeing a car doing flip flops in a goddamn fucking airline on a two-wheeler, and then running down the lake and blowing up a fucking submarine.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. I need to add a rant button here. So when we rant, so it comes up like warning, or some shit like that. But no, seriously, like, the movies I've gotten to the point now, like, is it even worth spending that $40 to the movies?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I do remember the seat thing. They were trying to make that like cross theaters to have it, something more engagement. But a lot of people didn't like that. Like, it was more like a roller coaster at that point, and it actually made emotion sick to some people.
Right.
But
right.
Why don't it just drift a different way? I have no problem watching these actors playing these roles as a Secret Service or a special agent. I'm okay with that part. But when they add in these crazy cars, seriously,
yeah.
Like, I remember which one was it? I think it was 5 or 6. They were going from building to building to building.
Exactly. Yeah.
And going downstairs where it was this supercar. I'm like scratching my head, like, yeah, the car will be destroyed by then.
Right.
The poor car.
Right.
Like,
and also just even the quality of the right. films in terms of just the CGI, right? I mean, like I said, it just cannot look realistic anymore. Now, if you want to go back, like I was just looking up greatest car chases of all time, and if you go back and watch, there's this do a YouTube search of this film Bullet from 1968. The car chase is phenomenal. French Connection, 1971. Again, another excellent case. And again, these were real cars shot in real situations. But now, like with the CGI and with all the trick stuff or whatever, it's like, again, it spins the belief. They would get like real pro drivers. Like, guys used to be able to take a car and flip it on its side and drive it. Like, if you ever been to like a car show or one of those monster truck shows or whatever, and the guys would actually be able to do that. I don't know how many guys still could do that stunt driving like back in the day. But now everything is CGI now. So I don't know. Do you still have those skilled guys, or is just financially it's just not worth them shooting? But even the idea of the car chase, even going back to like Terminator 2, right? The chase where John is on his motorbike and the Terminator's coming after him, and Terminator's on the chopper or whatever. That was an exciting sort of scene, mostly done with real vehicles. You know what I mean? But now it's just, like I said, it just suspends all credulity now when it comes to believe these scenes. But there's been a lot of great scenes back in the day that is just as thrilling now as when I watched them. Now, we do wish they would kind of go back to that. But just want to give some shout out to the chat. Embrace the Grace stopping on to see us tonight. So she's a Maserati person, much to Joshua's chagrin. I guess he doesn't like Italian cars. And again, Trey Taylor coming through to hop on in. So Trey, I got to ask you, sir, what today, All right. So what car are you buying off the lot today? What is your favorite car? If you were just going to get a classic car and trick it out, and then also from the movies, what is your favorite car from either from a movie or TV show? So I already talked about mine. It's the 1966 Batman car. It's the 1967 Green Hornet car. It's the 1977 Lotus from Spy Who Loved Me. It's the 1978 Pontiac Trans Am from Smokey and the Bandit, and it's the 1982 Trans Am from Knight Rider, the Kit car, Knight 1000. So those are my favorite. Those are my favorite ones. So Trey, if you just want to drop in there real quick, name your shopping list. You got unlimited money. What car are you getting? Gran Torino. So Embrace the Grace. Yes, that was a nice looking car. I don't know if you ever saw Gran Torino the movie, but yeah, that was a nice looking car. Also,
Trey, also when he was officer in Black and Blues, how did he like the Chargers?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I personally am not a fan of them, but again, they're different. There are different police versions of it versus civilian versions of it. So I like to get his opinion on that.
Actually, if David's in the back, absolutely. If Trey can, all right. So again, we're not opening this up tonight. All right, we're not opening up this channel tonight. All right, because one is already 11 o'clock.
I was gonna say,
we're at the show in.
Before you jump in, okay, I'm not surprised Grace is driving an Italian car. I'm not surprised. She's half
Well,
Italian.
she's half Italian, man. Give her some slack. So
I'm not gonna give her fucking slack. I got a better marinara than she does. So we're at war here, girl.
Okay, so all right, so Trey saying the 19. All right, you can put his comments up. 1967 Chevelle. You would buy in a heartbeat. Porsche 911. We need to talk about Porsche tonight. Again, great car, Porsche Turbo. And I don't think we could open up tonight, but Trey, we also want to know again from your work as a police officer. So again, I think we made some earlier comments about what guys were using. So again, police forces for a while they were using those Chargers as police cars, and I think there was some problems. So you said they were going back to the Fords and whatnot. So again, when you were an officer,
that's what I heard.
What was the ride that you were? What cars were you using? Did you love or hate them? And what cars do you wish that the force used when you were a police officer back in the day? So if you could just drop that,
Funny story, actually. Obviously, you guys know before I was a chef, I was a mechanic. So
right.
We had a lot of local PDs who work on our cars. So obviously, there are a lot of buttons in there. I'm like, so I gotta hit the buttons. I want to light this shit up. Every single time the officer just shake his head, like every time you work on my car, you always gotta play with those fucking lights. Why? You're like, why not? He goes, if I could play with the radio, I would. Like, he goes, don't touch my fucking radio. That's the only thing I'm asking. Don't touch my radio on my computer. But we had some officers come in and like the street troopers are the worst ones for me. When they pulled up, we started, you have to get out of your car, we pull it in. It was 1, 2, 3. So you don't have to wait. They fucking hated getting out of the car. Like, why can't I drive my own car? And they're like, because it OSHA law, like they felt like they were above the law of that. And that's why I always hated the state troopers. The local PDs were great to work with.
Right.
Go ahead.
So Trey's saying, so back in the day, back in the day, they had the Ford Taurus with the Interceptor package. But if he had his druthers, he would have went with a Dodge Durango. That's a nice one too. The Durango Hellcat, red eye as cruisers. They were perfect for the job. Yeah, that'd be nice too. I would definitely. But I forgot about the Ford Tauruses back. That goes up like RoboCop. Didn't they use the Ford Tauruses back in RoboCop? I thought I remember. I thought that was like an earlier thing. I didn't know they were using them that long, even if the Taurus was in production that long when you were in the were in the military, in the police department. But yes, I do remember the Ford Tauruses when they were heavily featured, like I said, in RoboCop and a lot of series going forward since then. But yeah, man, it definitely it's definitely something I think we can all we can all.
I do know, and I think Trey is gonna actually appreciate this. I know they're trying to remove the whole computer system out of there and add like a tablet instead because compromise room. And when the officers get in accidents, that computer actually hurts them more than anything. So they're trying to make it safer for the officers too. And they have a lot of kill switch. If somebody gets in and drives your car away, because I know they have those keypads when you lock the car, it stays in your pocket. They're only for police force. Trey, please correct me if I'm wrong. but they have the the key ones like we have our cars, like the alarm systems. But they keep the car on and walk away, and the car will lock if they're too far away.
Right.
And if it drives away, they're like all these new gizmos are coming in, and like, that's why I can explain at least. I'm not
Right.
an expert, and I'm just what I read online. I'm saying, of course, and what I'm
Gotcha.
hearing.
Gotcha.
But there's some pretty cool gizmos that come in with it, and they're stuff like that. I had a tablet. Okay, so yeah, I'm saying like, but the tablet I was told again I might be wrong. If they're taking the computer out, they're gonna be bolted where the tablet is, like a flat screen in there. But I don't know again how true that is.
All right.
So even think about it, the car police cars have come a long way since the first couple of cars. If you remember,
Yeah, for sure.
They were like the civilian cars were faster than the police cars at one point.
Yeah.
I know some
like I said,
some
like I said,
countries.
you put that Hellcat on the road, absolutely. Hellcat's
God,
gonna, yeah, for sure.
Like, I know they were talking that one time doing Camaros. I think I'm not sure. They were doing some sports cars because they couldn't. People were like shooting them with chips and all this stuff, and they couldn't keep up at one point. The cars. I know in overseas, at least I can speak for Greece. At least, if the car goes over a certain amount of miles, they'll let you go. They won't bother because there's no way. It's too dangerous,
Right.
and the car won't ever keep up. If it's
Right.
over like I think at 85 miles and you're doing like 120 and over, forget
They
it.
just let you go.
Let it go. It's not even worth it.
Yeah, I hear you. So Trey saying that says favorite movie car is the James Bond Aston Martin DBS Super Laga. Yeah, it's hard to go wrong with wrong with that one. And then he said again, I had a tablet. We can take it into the home with us, but it said if you clicked on the car radio PA button twice, the car would stay on without the keys, and pressing the brake would kill the engine. Wow. So there we are with that. But I wonder if just with this move towards certainly electric cars, I just wonder if police departments are going to start using electric vehicles to.
That's a good question too. Like maybe Trey has some
to-
information behind that because of when
Yeah, I'd be curious about that because
question
one thing I mean,
how did he
yeah,
feel about the Crown Vics when they were police cars? Because I know a lot of
that might have been for his time, man. That might have been for his time, but
Come on, he's not. He's
'Cause I
not
know-
that.
I know Josh was talking about the Capris back in the day, but yeah, the Crown
Mhm.
Victorias and the Capris back in the that might have been.
Dude, like my dad drove the Crown Vic to the last day he was driving. He
Yeah,
loved the Crown Vics. It was his favorite car, and it was like it will never die. It will never fucking die.
yeah. Trey just confirmed. Yeah, the Crown Vic was before him. I knew that. That was going back. That was going back a few years. But he says honestly, I didn't like the Charger police vehicle. It felt like a bone. Well, I did have a Tahoe for a little bit, but I prefer the Taurus. Yeah.
A lot of the people, like I know a couple of my local PDs around here, they're switching back to Fords. They don't like and Ford have been having the contract for years. I'm
Yeah.
very surprised they went with Dodge for a little bit. I'm very surprised.
Right.
And I think like they've been working with Ford. Oh shit, I don't know how many years now. And
Yeah.
if they go electric, I think that could be a big mistake. And I think Trey's going to agree with me this.
My only thing is with the electric. I mean, again, you can't that acceleration though. It's unless you got like the souped up, the Lambo or whatever that can go 3.9 in 60 and 3.9 or whatever. Electric generally is going to be able to catch up or pass most of the other cars. Now again, will you be able to chase them for distance? I don't know, but but certainly that acceleration that you can get in an electric car, that could be where you want to get the guy right away. So that could certainly be a factor in terms of why they may want to move to that.
I think electric could
move
be
to that
more
as well.
like kind of like local stuff, like getting tickets, stuff like that. But for like traffic stops, I think they're going to still go gas station because there's no.
Yeah, I don't know if they go like state troopers. I can't see them going to electric, but yeah, definitely local stuff. I can certainly see being electric, being at least having some in the fleet and seeing where they go with that. But
dude, imagine a fucking electric car trying to pull over a freaking Mustang or like somebody shoot up his car with every bell and whistle possible. You're not gonna be able to catch up with it. He's going, and he's gonna be gone.
Yeah,
like he's go. I think I can.
Yeah,
and then like he got supercharged.
Hey,
car died.
Yeah, I mean it's feast. It's gonna be feast of famine, but Like sometimes catching a guy, early, that might be the way to go. But we may have to have the next time. I think we're due to have get a call and show probably in the next couple of weeks. We might want to bring this up again. So for guys who want to come on and talk about cars, talk about your favorite car that you've owned. Let me ask you, what was the first car that you owned?
I'm trying to think which one it was now. Now family car or me personally paid my own money.
Both.
So my very first car I owned with my parents was the Santa Fe 05 when they looked like grandma cars back then, but SUVs. But that car lasted us all the way to 2020, excuse me, 2020. We got rid of it.
Right.
That's from 05 to 2020.
Right.
The math, how long and how many miles we put on a fucker.
Yeah.
Now my first dealer car I bought with my own money from the dealer was a 2013 Hyundai Elantra. That was a piece of shit. My other first car I bought when I was a kid was actually a Mustang, believe it or not. I bought it in New York for a couple of $100 and I fixed it up. It was a project. That's how I learned to work on my own car. I they broke it and fix it.
Yeah. All right, I gotta give Josh some props here. All right, so again, he said the first car that he owned, and this is definitely, I thought this was an Italian thing back in the day, since he's been crashing Italians, because all the Italians back in the 80s, all right, everybody owned a Z28 IROC Z. So, I mean, that was like the definitive car. If you were Italian, everybody had that car back in the day. But salute to Josh. He definitely owned one back in the day. So you were the man back then if you owned an IROC Z. So I mean that was definitely a car that people would be envious you of if you owned one back in the day. So I gotta give him props for that.
No, I think it's a good car. And like I'm just not my preference cup of tea. Like I know it gives Chevy a lot of shit and all that stuff, but is it a good car? Yeah, Z28. It's like they still make them to this day for a reason.
Yeah,
think about it.
Yes,
you know what Explorers? They're not going anywhere anytime soon because they keep people. I know people who keep buying Explorers and they won't stop buying Explorers because of how good they are.
Well, it's interesting because that was the thing. Going back to the Hummer, you had that certainly starting in the late 90s into the early 2000s. Mm-hmm. Everybody wanted the big vehicle, not just an SUV, but the big one. You wanted the Suburban. You wanted the Cadillac Escalade. You wanted a Hummer. Everybody went big when it came to these vehicles. And certainly, I think there's been a bit of a retraction of that, just certainly given gas prices and whatnot. And I don't know if an electric you can even is even practical to have an electric car that big. But that was just the thing. So gas prices back in the day were pretty reasonable. I mean, certainly in New Jersey, I remember when gas was like $1.20, $25 for gas per gallon, and guys were getting these big gas guzzling cars and large ones, and they were. They were the thing. But I think certainly after Katrina, I think that did a lot in terms of where the price of gas skyrocketed, and we never went back. I mean, nobody is unheard of to think about $3 gas.
That made it worse too. COVID
helped. $3 gas and whatnot. But like I said, we never went back to that. And I think that's what killed that big car market. But that was the thing. Everybody was getting these big, like I said, the Escalade. If you were black, you were getting that. That was the thing. Everybody wanted a Cadillac Escalade with the big tires and all that kind of stuff. Some of the guys, other folks went for the Hummers, the H2 at least, if not the big one, and then the H3 came out, which is a bit smaller. But certainly, I think the gas situation I think killed. It's almost like the dinosaurs, right? They went extinct because no one's want to spend $100 to fill up one of those stands anymore. And so I think that's
When I was younger, I really liked the smaller cars because of the gas, like you said. Now that I'm getting pretty older and wiser, I wouldn't drive anything but an SUV anymore because it's a family car. When I do have a family, I have family. And, it's easier to travel personally. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I have the 2023 Hyundai Tucson. It doesn't look big outside, but when you get in, that fucker is humongous inside. You see my car. You remember when you came?
Yeah, I did. Me. Yep. Mm-hmm.
From the outside, it didn't look that big, right?
Yeah.
But when you looked inside, a whole different world, wasn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
and
For sure.
it's a sharp car. Like if you look from the outside, people don't think it is a Hyundai. Hyundai has come a long fucking way.
Right.
Like a lot of people consider them now more like starting to go towards the luxury side of it versus like the lower end of like a 40K. When like I remember 40K was like beginning luxury style and like the entry level. I meant, but now you have the Hyundais, the newer ones that look just like luxury.
Mhm.
The grill in front of it, the lights, how they are is I think it looks sick as hell. To be honest with you.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. So Gray's talking about back in the day. They called them the hoopties back in the day. So again, family had a Cadillac Fleetwood. Yeah, that was a hoopty. And Josh talked about the '87 Caddy classic grill. Yeah, them are the cars you can make out and you could fool around in back then.
Now, I got a
Some
question.
of these
for Grace.
cars now you can't fool around anymore.
Hey,
Then
I got a question.
if
for
it had the bench seat in the front, that was another story.
I have a question for Grace because she is half Italian, and we know that already. Did you have a Cadillac at one point in your family? Simple question.
Yeah, she did. She just talked about it.
Oh, did she? I didn't realize that.
Cadillac Fleet. Yeah, they had a Fleetwood.
Oh, I see it now. I just missed it.
Yeah,
So-
big car.
Yeah. Hey, every time I know, always had a Cadillac. Always had it. Always. And again, I never understood that. Why every time I have a Cadillac?
Mhm.
Never understood that. I think they were kind of overrated, to be honest. At
Well,
one point.
again, Cadillac, go back to like the 50s and whatnot. Cadillac was considered, again, the luxury car. You didn't have you didn't have the imports, the BMWs and whatnot. Cadillac was considered the that car. And I think they just carried that reputation over time, well into the 70s. The Fleetwood, the Broughams, the Cadillac DeVille, and the Run DMC. They made the Cadillac, what was that? The Eldorado, famous. So it was still a pinnacle of success. I don't think you had Lexus yet. You didn't have, Infiniti yet. You didn't have a lot of these. You didn't have a lot of these other, certainly not foreign car makers that were out. So again, it was a status symbol for a lot of years. And like I said, in the 90s, I think they started to kind of temper off as far as people getting those bigger cars. But again, once they started coming out with the Escalade and those big, giant SUVs, I think that's what, in a lot of ways, sustained Cadillac for a long time when they went to those bigger vehicles. So I don't know where they are now. With I don't really follow the brand as much now. If Caddies are still
now, they're
are
still
they
around.
still popular? At least not with
Yeah.
young people anyway. I don't
I don't know if
I certainly don't see
they're-
millennials buying Cadillacs today.
I don't know how popular they are. I haven't really seen them on the road as much. I still see Lincolns. I know Grace has made a comment about the Lincolns. I see those on the market, but they're still pretty up there, like a entry level Cadillac 51,000. So that's not
Yeah.
like spare change kind of thing. And they have the nice electric versions too, and that's even higher, like 57 and up. Like I was never personally a fan. I know like a couple of my family members love them and definitely they love the Cadillacs. I'm like, great for
Oh
you.
yeah,
I like the Lincolns over better than that. I know
Yeah.
it's overpriced Ford at the end of the day because Ford makes it, but I think Lincoln makes it a little nicer car. Personal opinion again, personal taste.
Yeah. Now, especially the Lincoln Continental or the town car. Yeah, in terms of like cruising, I know in the black community that's like the pastor's car for a long time before they started getting to the Mercedes and Lexus and whatnot. If you were a pastor, you drove a Lincoln or a Continental or whatever. Again, you get on 95, then you're going to be again perfect cruising car. Especially if you get the cruising a package or whatnot. It's like you're driving on a cloud. So I definitely certainly appreciate them. Trey saying that Cadillac is still very popular. Escalades and the sedan, the black or CTV are still very popular. I didn't even think they were making them anymore because, like I said, you want to spend $100 trying to fill that thing up. I think with the gas prices and whatnot, I would think that that would drive some of that down. And Cadillac does have an EV called the Lyric that's doing numbers. So right, I can certainly see them. They're all coming out with an electric line. But I thought like the big giant cars, I thought they were kind of going away the dinosaurs with that because I didn't think they were able to. Josh was like set the cruise control and wake up 10 hours later. Yeah, very smooth ride in those cars. I mean the Continental, the town car, whatever. that was definitely your cruiser. If you rented one, if the deal, whether it be Avis or whatever, if they rented them, that's definitely the one that you that's definitely the one that you want. And they said they just put 600 horsepower in the Escalade. Oh my gosh, that's a beast. Escalade 5, that is an absolute beast. But yeah, man, we're way over time. Look, we're gonna have to have on our next call-in show. We're gonna bring this topic back. People can come up, chop it up. So Trey, I'd love to hear more about when you were in the force, the type of cars that you were using. I know you said you were a fan of the Taurus back then, and what police departments are using now, and what your thoughts again on the EVs potentially becoming a part of the force. Josh, you can see like you have a lot of history, a lot of background with cars with you and your family. Love to have you come up and chop it up or whatever, and let's just have fun with it. And keep this conversation going. But cars is something that I think as a gray area, regardless of the culture that you come from or whatever, we all love cars. We all have our favorite cars, whether it be certainly on the, from the movies or things that we've seen on the roads to cars that we've owned and whatnot. So again, this is something that I think, I think cars really bond people. I mean, especially you go to the auto shows, you even go to the local street shows or whatnot. In fact, there's a local group here. It's like all these kids that drive around in these mocked up Honda Accords or Audis or whatever, these little cars or whatnot, Volkswagen Jettas. It's like this car group. So every once in a while you'll see like hundreds of cars assembled in a parking lot, like at a mall or something like that. And they're going down to like Raceway Park down in Route 18 South here in New Jersey, and they're all kind of hanging out. But it's like every year you get these guys coming up with these souped up cars with the colored headlights and all that kind of stuff. So again, I think cars as a community, I think it just brings a lot of people from different backgrounds together. And I think it's definitely something that a lot of people can appreciate, whether you go to the fancier auto shows or, like I said, you just work on your own ride.
There's one thing I always made fun of people. And usually the younger kids, like when they first get in the cars, they're trying to do all this weird, crazy things to them, right? And they start throwing stickers on them, like Nas or
I don't like that.
Hang on. They think the sticker makes the car faster. That's what makes me laugh.
Well,
I go, it's just like, but all joking aside, I one thing I have realized, depends on what culture you're from. Like the Latinos, I've seen they gravitate more to Honda and Toyotas versus, let's say, Greeks gravitate to more like European cars and American. Like I'm one of the unique who has a Hyundai, for example. Like, I think the culture, where you're from, your culture a little bit has a little bit what taste you can go for, what you like.
And definitely generational as well. Like you said, like Buicks or whatnot, that's generally, again, you're not going to have typically a Gen Zer driving a Buick.
I see
necessarily.
one of those.
What's that?
I see our paint driving one of those.
Yeah, definitely. Skylark. From back
what? If you look at those cars, actually, I'm not talking about a mechanical. From what you get with the price, they're not that bad actually. There is an old man car. No offense, our paint.
Yeah. That, or if you get the Chrysler 300, that was another one where, again, Cadillacs, like I said, is generally an older car. What's that? The Escalade, that might be, I can see certainly some younger people getting that, but generally, you're right. So I think it goes generationally, and there might be some different cultural differences that contribute to that, but again, it's just nice to talk about, and but I definitely look forward. I think I will be owning an EV vehicle within the next 5 years for sure. We'll see, because the thing is, it's very. I've only bought one new car in my life. And that was before, I got with a financial advisor one time, and he said the worst thing you can do is buy a new car, because the depreciation on it after the first year is like the biggest. It's like at least a 30-40% depreciation in the first year.
I would agree with that.
So he never recommended that you buy a new car, get a second year car, low mileage, especially if you're getting it off lease, because they typically keep the miles low on it, because you talk about a leasing limit of 12,000 miles. So if you get like a low 24 to 36,000 miles, you'll save about 30% on the car. More than likely it'll still be under some bumper to bumper warranty, and you'll also work out the kinks in it if it's especially if it's a new model, a year with it. But yeah, but a financial advisor told me a long time ago, never buy a brand new car unless if you got money like that to afford that, then yeah. But he always steered me away from that.
I always had bad experience with used cars. Always. Every used car I had major headaches, after, I always got rid of it before warranty ended because that's how many headaches I had with it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I prefer new. That's why I keep going back to Hyundai because, they're the price you get a good amount of warranty out of it. 10 years, you can't beat it. So that's, it's preference also. You don't know how the last driver took care of the car. Did he really take care of it?
That's true. Well, like I said, that's what I'm saying. If the car was under lease, then there's one. It's more. You still got to do your work search. Do your Carfax and all that kind of stuff on it. But generally, if it's going to be leased, it's generally going to be low mileage because they still got to essentially turn it in to the dealership or pay fines and penalties if it's over mileage or damage to it. It's still going to be under the original warranty. Usually, the minimum you're going to get is like $660 or whatever. Some, I think Hyundai goes $1,100. So you're still going to get some warranty on it. But again, the cost of the car, you could be talking very easily, $10,000 off the rip if you just don't buy it fresh off the lot, especially like I said in the new model year.
My cousin, he used to rent his cars all the time. You know what he used to do? He went to his boy, who's his mechanic, unplug his speedometer. So he put all these crazy miles on the car, and you didn't even know about it.
Yeah.
So
yes, I mean Josh I think is agreeing with me, which is scary. But he's saying here again, just want to he said trucks are like 85K off the lot now. Again, as soon as you drive it off the lot, it halves in value.
But here's what the other problem is now we're in right now, and we're still trying to get out of it, and it's gonna be a while before the used cars and the new cars, they're not much difference now. Like when I was buying my new car, they're showing me literally a lease of the same car, or just 1 year older. It was only $5K difference. That was 35. Mine was 40.
Mm-hmm.
So the payments were going to be only a $50 difference.
Right. I saw that with some of the electric cars. I saw like that with like the Teslas. I think they have pretty good resale value, and I think that's one of the reasons why again they dropped the price of Teslas like 20-30% just in the past year. And I think one because of now more EVs are coming on the road, and people, but there's a market that opened up for used Teslas, and so they had to kind of keep up because people were deciding, look, I'll just buy a used one rather than getting a new one off the lot. So it may be based on the car, it might be based on what you talk about the luxury car brands. If you're talking about just so an everyman's car, an average car or an economy car or something, it may be different depending on the lane that you're working in. If you talk about the luxury car market, that could be a different ball game there. But definitely, it says EV owners should be deported. Harsh. You've been talking to Josh too long. Josh takes it to those type of extremes. I don't expect that from. But Josh is always taking it there. But But yeah, it's definitely something. Again, financially, like I say, if you got the money to spend like that, then have at it. But if you're still trying to save some money or whatever, again, at least it was beat into me. A second year car, that's been cared for. Do your research and whatnot, but I think you can still get a lot more value. Then, because again, once you drive it off the lot, it can go down. But that could be changing in the future. But yeah, we're definitely.
I'm not gonna even push back on that. I think I agree with you with that part. There's a value. Pickup trucks hold value more than other trucks. So it really depends on make and model too. That's what comes down to it too. But some things, I have bad experience with used cars. I'm not saying that's every used car out there. That's what my experience is.
Yeah. But that's something, certainly we can chop that up. Like I said, if we do a part 2, well, like I said, if we open it up again, and it could be like the car show, but this time, again, we can bring some folks on, and we can certainly talk to folks about their experiences with new cars versus new cars, imports, whatnot. We can certainly chop that up. I have to mention one more car, all right, before we sign off tonight. This has been my closing thought, okay? Back in the 80s, All right. The car that everybody wanted that was horrible to own from in terms of fixing auto record, reliability or whatever, but everybody wanted this car was the Audi 5000. That was the car back in the day, more so than Lexus or BMW or any of those cars. You had an Audi, you were definitely you were definitely the man if you had if you had one of those. So again, I got to give some respect to it, even though it had an awful repair record, but everybody wanted it. And even now, the Audi, the A8s and whatnot, they're still up there in terms of prices. I don't know if the reliability has markedly improved over time. But I know, Josh, I'm sorry. Yes, I think it's another German car. So I know you're not feeling that. He's not feeling that. But this is fun. I mean, I think we can chop this up for a time. Certainly look forward to having some people come on and we can chop it up some more. But again, thank you, Lady Naveau, for the compliment. And we're about to lay this thing down and prepare for the week. Grooming, did you have any final thoughts before we close out?
Don't buy German cars. Simple. There you go. Buy a German car. Save your money. Buy American.
There you go. All right. Yes, we need some patriotism in these crazy times here. Yes, buy American, but that could be Toyota. So just depending on where you go, that could be American. That's right. But again, fun. Thank you guys for joining us. You guys have certainly a safe and prosperous week. And just stay alert and be on your guard. Again, we're coming off a crazy weekend. There's some crazy things going on, and certainly in this country right now. So again, stay safe, protect your families and whatnot, and hope we look to see you next time. I'm Mr. Bennett. He is Grooming and Reviews, aka
Sparta,
the Ghost of Sparta, aka Peter, aka Leotis. And it was good to see Mom tonight. Certainly look forward to bringing her back on in a future show. Always good to see Mom, and good to see she's going on. And again, just to let you know, funeral arrangements for my mom. They'll be taking place. I said the 26th of this month. We lay her to rest. And look, it's looking good. We're almost looking. I mean, I was just planning with some folks earlier. We got this stuff planned out, and it's almost like we're going to be throwing a party. I mean, we really just want to be celebratory in this time that she's at rest. I think most people are in a good place, and we're just looking forward to just having family together and just having a good time and celebrate her. And so there's not going to be a lot of sorrow here, but we're just grateful that we can come together this time and lay her to rest. So again, love you, Mom.
Well, I gotta give you credit because you're doing a lot better than I expected. I'll be honest. Hey. If it was me, I wouldn't be able. Yeah, I'll be live still because we have audience too and stuff and everything.
Right.
But my mental health wouldn't be 100% there. I'll be honest with you. I'll be like choking up, and I know she's kind of she's just does this rise of like it'll be even worse for me.
Yeah.
And I gotta give you my respect for that. You're doing a lot better than I expected.
Hey man, like I said, I'm just grateful at this point because, like I said, she had a lot of turmoil in her life, and now she's a free person, and so I rejoice over that, and certainly I'm gonna be using that to highlight. As I said, I'm putting the programs together again. We're going to be out of church. We'll be possibly we may even be streaming it Zoom because I know some family members can't make it up to see her. So we're going to be putting it on Zoom, be live streamed, and so we just wanted to honor her and just to send her off in the right way, and so we're definitely looking forward to putting this together. People are excited about getting together. Everyone's contributing in terms of what they're bringing. Someone's bringing the potato salad. Someone's bringing the fish. Someone's bringing the whatever. So everyone's so it's really coming together nicely, and wasn't a lot of stuff. And again, those things that we talked about on an earlier show. Again, Beryl Insurance. The insurance I got, they paid the funeral home within 24 hours. Boom, done. Not a long process in terms of getting that done. And so again, so far it's just been very smooth. I got my casket from Costco, like I told you earlier, Costco caskets. So again, cheapest price, man, because I know the funeral home almost tried to charge me double for a casket, right? So I went to Costco, looked around. This other place, they said, hey, you can buy cheap caskets. In fact, the name of the place is called, I think, cheapcaskets.com. I looked at Costco, didn't compare. Boom, picked my casket. Boom, done. They drop it off at the funeral home or whatever. It's easy, man. So again, shout out to Costco. economy caskets. There, you don't have to be spending ridiculous money like cars. Like they tried to sell you a $5,000 car, they try to sell for $10,000. And a lot of times in the casket industry, especially when they think your emotions are such where whatnot, they try to abuse you in that area as well. But I told the person right there, I got my casket up Costco because I did the same thing for my dad. So I went there and I went out, yes, some sort of smoke, and he said caskets, yes, caskets. Again, my mom died last week, and so we're just planning to lay her to rest. And so caskets from Costco is the way to go for an economy casket, not spending all your money on that. You don't want to spend a whole lot of money on the car, and you certainly don't want to spend a ton of money on the casket. So, but with that, again, I'm Mr. Bennett. He is grooming. Have a great week, guys.
Sparta!
We'll say, yes, Costco. We'll see you next week. We'll see you guys next week. Take care. God bless. David, close us out, sir.
Man, if you're sleeping, I swear to God, I'm coming to New York and beating you with a metal belt back in the 90s. Wake the fuck up back there. I know you're snoring over there.
Black David.
Wake up, bastard. I'm gonna start calling you Bastard David.
Oh my gosh.
Come on, wake up. Come on, boy.
Yeah,
boy.
this is the after.
Yeah,
yes, this is the after show.
he's not
Yes.
doubting.
Go there. They don't have a ton. They got about 8 or 9 to choose from or whatever. I think the most expensive might have been like $1,500. And so again, Prince they deliver it, drop it off right at the funeral home, and definitely they do a lot of things, and it's an American company. So shout out to Costco brand. But yeah, I'm just gonna sign off. And but I'll see you in the streets actually next week. See, we just gave some good advice out there. Yeah, Costco. Look, search Costco for caskets. It's an easy process, and hopefully you save some money on that. So, all right, I'll see you guys next week.
Yeah,
I'll see you out there in the streets. Take care. Bye.
See you guys.